Why do sales calls become a living nightmare for coaches and experts? That's what we're going to look at in this video podcast. And I'm going to walk you through some of the common things that go wrong in sales calls for experts, coaches, consultants. First off, before we get into that, I just want to highlight one of the reasons why this group of people, you may be one of them, a coach or a consultant or an expert, struggle so much with this whole sales piece. It is because, one, you've probably been in a corporate environment where actually people have got what you do at the outset. They know what you do, they understand it. And so you've never had to take people on that journey in a conversation from I don't know you very well to I understand what you do in a short period of time. People have always had a chance to observe you in more detail. The other reason is if you've launched your business with referrals, you're getting a lot of people who are pre-sold. And so they're coming and wanting to know about how you work rather than whether you can solve their problem. Somebody else has done a lot of the selling for you. And so now you're coming to a call with a referral, with a glowing recommendation from somebody they trust. And in effect, it's yours to lose. When you're getting a lead from somebody who doesn't know you that well, who hasn't had that glowing recommendation, you have to win it. And that doesn't mean about manipulating people. It means about having a structure. And that leads me to the first point, not having a clear agenda on that call. That agenda helps you stay structured and it helps the prospect be put at ease to know what's going to happen. And it's as simple as this of mapping out what you're going to do on the call beforehand and then communicating it in those first few moments before it goes all over the place, what's going to happen. And it can be as simple as, hi, Steve, thanks for coming on the call. We got 30 minutes. I want to be as productive as possible for you. So here's my suggested what we do. Find out a bit more about you. Ask you a couple of questions about what's going on there. Then give you some ideas and recommendations of maybe how you can deal with whatever comes up. And then if there's time and if it's a fit for you, I can show you how I can help. Does that work for you? And we'll get all that done in 30 minutes. Real simple. Doesn't have to be a formal agenda. It's just a structure so that the client knows what to expect or the prospect knows what to expect and you know what to expect. You've set the pace. Otherwise, you'll be constantly going, where am I going next? How do I transition? And you can literally then get, I'm just conscious of time and I want to get through. So can I ask you a couple of questions about that? You've got control of the conversation. The other thing that many experts do is they spend too much time on that call talking about what they do, and that's a mistake. Before you can help people, you have to understand where they're at. Otherwise, you might propose the wrong thing. You might propose something that they don't need or want. You might propose something that doesn't fit. And so the front of the call, the majority of the call is understanding them. So if you've got 30 minutes, probably at least 20 minutes of it is probably going to be devoted to you talking about and asking questions about where they're at, what's working, what's not, what the problems are, how it's showing up day to day, and really understanding where they're at. That's essential. You can't propose anything until you understand where they're at. And think about your call literally like a doctor's appointment. Number one, I've got to understand what's going on. The symptoms, the pains. I might ask a few follow-up questions to try and understand. Does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? What about this? How do you find this? How is it keeping you off work? You would ask all of those questions like a doctor would. Once you've got that information, you can now come to that conclusion of this is where I think the issue is, and this is what the treatment plan I would recommend you follow. Not your service at this point, just what's the treatment plan for that objective. So what you really need is this. Then you can say to them, okay, I can recommend how I've solved this problem for other clients. Would you like to hear how I do it? And now you're into the service. But now your service and your conversation's more valuable because the prospect sees you're proposing something to solve the things that you've discussed. But also you can tailor how you present that now so that they understand that you have a solution specifically. So rather than you just going, oh, well, I've got a 4-step framework, you can go, well, step 1, this is what we're going to do, and this is how it's going to help you. Step 2, this is what we're going to do, and this is how it's going to help you. Step 3. So now your pitch back is not your standard just pitch. You can actually tailor, even if it's your same 4 steps, but now you can contextualize of how that's going to benefit them. So you have to get beyond just going on the call and telling people your service. You have to treat it like you're a doctor. You're an expert after all, so you should behave like that. That's how it should be. Now, in that process, often what will happen is people will ask the wrong questions that don't uncover. And so you've got to get really good at asking the questions that really uncover what's really going on for them, what's really holding them back. Not just go, so you struggle with your mindset, do you? Yeah, okay, well, this is how I could help you. No, how's it affecting them? What's it costing them? Yeah, that's the reason why they'll pay, because it's costing them something. It's hurting in some way. You've got to find out how it's hurting and where it's hurting, so that will trigger them to go, I will pay to solve this. You've got to find that in that conversation. Then the biggie, and this comes from a lack of structure and not really understanding how to run a call, is you slip into actually coaching. You slip into teaching in that call. You try and fix a bit of the problem in the call. And this comes from a mindset issue that we logically think that if I prove I'm valuable, they're obviously going to buy. And so what happens is we start to go into tips. We go beyond diagnosis into actually treatment, even if it's a mini treatment. And this actually stops you getting a sale. They go away from that call feeling better and actually have something to do, which means they don't need to make a decision to buy. So why do we slip into this teaching coaching mode? We slip into it because we have that lack of structure, that lack of agenda, and ultimately we massively underestimate that first part, or that part I just shared with you, diagnosis. Diagnosis is so valuable to your prospects that when they see their position and go, oh my God, I never realized this. And some of you who are listening and watching me who are coaches know this. Often a coach is not giving you the answer. They're helping you uncover and see the problem clearly. And that's so powerful, like why this is happening, what's going on. Helping people see that is so powerful that it makes them want the next step of, okay, so how do I do this? They want to move forward, whereas if you give them the how, they will go away and move forward without you. So we underestimate the power of diagnosis. And so we slip into coaching because we fundamentally believe that if I'm valuable enough, they will buy. And it's not true. Value and education and free coaching and free training and free teaching builds trust, but it doesn't create an urgency to make a decision. But once you diagnose somebody, they want to move forward. They want to take action. They want to fix it. Now, another thing that happens on calls is you slip into your coaching or expert jargon. Many coaches, I see this, many coaches, when they're starting their coaching business, they're mixing in coaching circles because they have to get their 100 hours and do all that kind of stuff to get their ICF stuff. And what it does is it puts them in a little bubble of other coaches and they all talk to each other in coachy language. And so what happens is that jargon then comes out in sales conversations with prospects who are not coaches, not even sure if coaching's the right way. And you're on a call with them basically using language that goes over their heads or isn't relevant to them. So what happens is you talk in processes and frameworks that really are boring. The prospects just want to know, do you understand their problem? Do you have a way to fix it? And have you done this for other people? That's really all they want to know. And so you getting into your coachy language will actually lose people really quickly because they'll go, maybe you're not for me because, that doesn't seem like me. If you get to a point where the prospect goes, they get me, you've won. But the more you bring your coachy stuff in or your expert lingo, you lose them. Leading to that, you've got to explain their problem back to them in plain English, using their words. You need to use their words in the conversation. So if they say, I just feel like I'm not good enough, you have to say that back do not categorize their problem. By categorize, I mean, and this is a common thing that coaches do and experts do, they put problem that the prospect tells you into a category. So they go, okay, so you really feel like you're not good enough, so you really need to work on your mindset. No, they've got a problem where they don't feel like they're good enough, and we need to rewire how they think so that problem, that thought process goes away. And then the other one is, and this is the icky one, they avoid talking about the money until the end. This really makes coaches and experts feel uncomfortable because it feels icky. And if it feels icky to you, guess what? It's going to feel icky to them. They will know, and they'll be waiting to go, this sounds really good, but how much is it? This is really good, but how much is it? So there's a couple of things here. Number one, if you're going to explain how you work, why not make a PowerPoint slide? If you're going to feel icky about the price, put it on the slide and don't wait till the end. Put it up front, how it works, so you've got it out the way. Sometimes I think we hold the price back to the end because we think once they're all sold in it, the price will be less of an issue. No, if you're going to bring the price up at the end, that means the last thing they remember is the price. Think about that. What you should do is, if you're icky about price, number one, put it out there on the internet, put it out on social media, put it out everywhere so it's already out there. People will not book a call without checking you out. So they will have a flavor of how much you cost already. So if they're coming to the call already knowing the price, that hurdle is dealt with. If you're charging 10 grand for 3 months coaching, or you're charging 50 grand for a project you're going to do for people, put up there that your minimum project value and your minimum coaching period is 10 grand or 50 grand. And then anybody who books a call, they're not going to turn their nose up at you. You might lose a few calls, but if you lose a few calls, you're losing people who are put off by the price. And if you're uncomfortable with sales calls now, what makes you think that if you get somebody on the call who wouldn't come on the call because of the price, you are comfortable in having the sales skill and confidence on that call to twist their arm? Think about it. If somebody sees your price and doesn't book a call, it means that price is way out of their league. If it's like just a little bit expensive, they'll probably tip them over. But here's the point. If you're struggling with sales calls now, no amount of you getting a prospect on a call, you're not going to have the skills and confidence yet to be able to get somebody who goes, 10 grand's a lot of money, I'm not going to spend that. To get them to actually convert, you need a hell of a lot of sales skill. So it's better to put your price out there, get it out there, and so you're disarming you're setting yourself up for an easier conversation. Do not worry about your competitors going, they'll undercut me. This is not the game of being the cheapest. So don't think about this. You're selling expertise. The cheapest person is not the best expert. So in one sense, it might be better for you to jack up your prices because you'll get better quality clients. And then the other thing is to think about is, and this kind of connects to the others, that price that you put out there, people will connect that to something in their world. They're going to connect it to a problem. So when I coach people, my one-to-one for a 3-month period is 10 grand for $13,000. And people go, $13,000 for LinkedIn training. Okay, that's not for you then. Well, number one, I'm not giving you LinkedIn training. I'm helping you build a business on LinkedIn. There's a difference. I have to get you in the shape to be able to actually get a lead. That's number one. But the bigger one is I have to get you into shape to be able to convert them. That is not LinkedIn training. So when people come on a call with you, it doesn't matter what you charge, they will link that to some form of result for them. The size of the problem and the result. Now, experts, many of you here watching and listening to me, your result is not going to be a financial outcome. But people will go, is that result worth 10 grand? So you have to, in that diagnosis, really understand where's the 100K's worth of value. Think about it. So you have to link and make sure that your price is clearly attached to the problem you've diagnosed. I'll give a really strange example. So on my accelerator, you can get one-to-one work with me for 13 grand. One client said, Dean, I'm not sure your accelerator is a good fit for us because we want something more custom. They didn't quite get it for whatever reason. Maybe it's me. I need to revisit our marketing on that. But they didn't quite get what the 13 grand was for. So they asked, could they pay me ad hoc? And I don't like to do ad hoc because it's a bit hit and miss, and it's logistically managing. So I said I would sell them a block group of sessions, and they actually paid more for the group sessions, but they felt that they were better for them because they'd get more value from it. Strange how it works. So I actually charged more for a block booking than if they'd have gone with the accelerator and got one-to-one with me, but that's how they wanted to work. But they felt they would get more value, better results. It would fit the problem better. So they paid more. I tried. So you've got to link it all to numbers in some way, because your prospect will link it. That £10,000 or $10,000 will sit there and they will weigh it up against the problem I've got and the urgency to get the solution. What's the opportunity I'm missing out on? They will do this weighing up. They will balance it out. And so if you don't find that problem that's worth, I always call it, if you're charging 10 grand, it's going to be a 100k problem. If you don't find it, the decision will be tough for them to make. It will be optional. If I said I can charge you 10 grand to optimize your profile, you'll go, what? But if I say, actually, it'll help you unlock a consistent revenue and you'll build a business that's not reliant on referrals, and we're going to get you 100 leads every month, not because you need 100 leads, not because you need 100 clients, but we're going to get you them because you'll have flow. Some will convert immediately, some will float around in your ecosystem for the next 3 months, 6 months. So if you're getting 100 leads, you're going to have reliable flow, and then they get it. Because now it's not about using LinkedIn. It's about building that business, and 1 client, 2 clients actually more than pays for the investment. And I can work with Dean for 12 months with a monthly session, or 3 months if we do sessions more intensely. So you see how it works. Second, doubts. Don't let the call end without asking them, does that seem like a fit for you? Is there anything that gives you cause that it might not be right for you? Let me know, and ask them to tell you what might not be a fit. Don't let them go off the call going, well, that's interesting, because what they're going to do is they're going to try and reconcile any concerns or objections they have, reconcile them without you. So don't just go, oh, I'll send it to you and let's, because people are nice, they're polite, they don't want to say things. So say, how does that sound to you? And is there anything about that you think, maybe I'm not sure if that works for me? Ask them. If they say no, that's fine. They might not want to tell you, but they might volunteer and say, well, I'm not sure about that bit. And you go, well, okay, fair enough. Let me explain then. This is what my approach would be with that bit. So encourage people to ask those questions. Don't avoid them. Because every time, if you think about it, it's a great content idea. Every time somebody says something to you, there's a reason not to buy. Think about how you could use that to write about it, put stuff out about it, improve yourself. But if you never ask it, you will never know. And it could be that they just weren't sure about one thing. It could be as simple as, 10 grand, could we pay over 3 months? And you go, yeah, it could be as simple as that. Now, the other thing I'm going to leave you with, and then we're going to wrap up. I could go on for these for hours, but this is a big one. And it comes down to rejection. If people reject your offer, it does not mean they've rejected you. It means they don't see how that will help them right now. You've got to get over this rejection piece. You've got to just go, it's a natural course of business. It's just what happens. It's never nice when somebody says they don't want to buy because you want the sale, but it happens. And it could be just as simple as you didn't gel with them on the call. And if you're an expert, you've got to work with that person. You've got to interact with that person. They just didn't gel. That could be it. It could be as simple as that. So don't really think about that. Actually, I'm going to give you one more. And this is a biggie. You follow up badly or you don't follow up at all. So follow up badly. Let's deal with that one. Following up badly is, hey, just wanted if you know where you're up to. If you want people to move and make a decision, what happens after that call? If it was a great fit, they come off that call and go, oh, I'm going to think about that later because I'm really excited about it. They'll come off that call and then life will get in the way. They get really excited, but in the moment, they're excited, they want to move forward, but then life gets in the way, number one. Number two, all that memory of that call starts to fade. And so what happens is, they remember the price, they remember the proposal, but how they felt you understood them gets lost. So in your follow-up, you should not be doing what I call empty follow-ups, where it's like just checking in what you're thinking if you want to get started. All you're doing is talking to the process of them making a decision. And your proposal and your follow-up after that call should be reminding people of what you've talked about, the problem, the goal, where they could be. If you're not using that, what they've said, you're doing what I call empty follow-ups, chasers. Think about it like this and go, well, actually, here's my prescription, my proposal. Based on the prescription, is that still a priority, these issues, and you want to get it sorted? Okay. And I sent you the prescription. Did you want to move on that prescription? Well, did you have some more questions about the prescription? Always link it back to that big problem. Otherwise, it's just empty. Not following up at all comes from a logic which is flawed of, well, if they're really serious, they'd just buy, wouldn't they? No. Human beings sometimes kick things into the long grass. Human beings sometimes don't do things. It does not mean they don't need it. It does not mean they don't want it. It's just other things consume their bandwidth and they forget. And so your lack of follow-up is not just harming you, it's costing you. Empty follow-ups cost you because people will say no, more likely to empty follow-ups. But not following up at all is basically saying, my issues, I'm uncomfortable with following up to help you. I know I can help you. I'm not going to do it because I want you to do all the work. It's selfish, really. I know you don't see it like that one, but it is selfish because you're basically putting all the initiative on the prospect to say yes, come back to you and do all the work, when we know human nature does not work that way. So these are some of the reasons why experts, your coaches, your consultants, maybe you watching and listening to me, will struggle on sales calls. Most of it comes from a lack of structure and thinking you have to do something more than you do. Fundamentally, your call should run like a doctor and a patient. And if you remember that and get that structure, it will all sort itself out. But don't be afraid. It's a natural course of business. You've got to do it. And the more you do it, the more confident you get, the more success you get. And one of the things I do sometimes with my coaching clients when I'm doing one-to-one is I will get them doing calls where the stakes are so, there's no stakes in it. There's no risk of a lost deal, to just get over it. And it works really well to get people through it. And once you know that you're just a doctor going on a call, it gets really, really easy.